What's going on, guys? Josh Pocock here, and on this channel we've covered many different workflow automation platforms. We've covered n8n, we've showed you how to self-host n8n, we've covered Zapier, we've covered make.com, we've shown you how to build custom workflows in different scenarios for each one of these different apps. We even covered Trigger.dev, a free open source alternative. But in today's video, I got a really good one for you. We're going to be taking a look at Kestra, a unified orchestration platform to simplify business critical workflows and govern them as code and from the UI. With this tool, you can orchestrate and schedule code in any language and run anywhere. There's 500 plus different plugins and integrations. And this is a free open source alternative to tools like Zapier, Rundeck, Camunda, Airflow, and more. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to easily know how to set this up locally using Docker and do this all within 2 to 3 minutes. And I'm also going to show you how you can self-host it in a production-ready instance and give you the exact Docker Compose file so you can get this running on Coolify. Let's dive right into it. All right, guys, so every link that I cover will be in the description down below, so make sure to check that out. First things first, though, I just want to quickly skim through Kestra's website here. Just one, because to give you guys some background, and as well, just because it is a really nice website. As we can see here, declarative workflow creation, scalable multi-tenant architecture, run anywhere code in any language in built-in editor, fast deployment cycles, simple deployments, API first design with a rich plugin ecosystem, and deploy anywhere with no single point of failure. So there's an all-inclusive dashboard with auto completion and syntax validation, no setup required, build workflows directly from the UI, embedded code editor with Git, push, and sync. So Kestra allows language agnostic workflows at any scale. So you can define your workflows using the YAML syntax like so, and we'll dive into that a bit in just a second. You can integrate with your current stack. You can execute your workflows. You can monitor and optimize your workflows. And they have a large community. They have over 12,000 stars on GitHub. You can join their Slack community right here, as well as you could potentially contribute. You can check out their socials right here, Twitter and YouTube. I would definitely recommend watching their YouTube videos because, guys, this tool, there is a lot to learn. And just so you guys know, in this video, I'm mainly going to be showing you how to get set up with it and showing you some of the basics and giving you a brief overview. And if you would like to see me dive deeper in future videos and maybe build some different custom workflows and give you guys them in templates and all these different stuff, let me know in the comments down below. All right, guys, so here is the GitHub right here. Now, you will notice that I actually forked this GitHub repo, and I will leave the original repo as well as my forked version in the description below. So the reason I forked this is because first things first is I included a Windows version for the Docker command right here. All right, so I will show you how to set this up locally on your system using Docker. So go make sure you have the prerequisite of Docker installed. You can go to docker.com, set that up, and make sure it's running on your system. And then to get it set up, it's very simple. All you do is either run this command if you're on Mac or Linux, or run this command if you're on Windows. All right, so the original repo did not have this Windows command right here, so I got that for you guys there. And then also too, once we get into the self-hosting within Coolify, you're going to want to most likely have your own forked version of it so that you can customize the Docker Compose if need be, and I'll show you where you can actually get those different configurations in just a second. But let's go ahead and actually set this up locally first. All right, so as you can see, mine is actually already running here, but all you're going to simply do is just copy that one command, and you'll see I just ran this command. Make sure you have Docker open on your system. Once you run that, it's going to pull all the different containers right here. It's going to pull the image, and then it's going to actually set that up, and it's going to be running. From that point on, if you go to localhost 8080, so it's going to be port 8080, you will see that you have the actual Kestra dashboard set up. Now, if you just run this one command, this Docker command, first things first is it's not persisting into a database. And there is ways that you can just basically do this locally. You could pretty much just use the same Docker Compose that I'm going to show you within Coolify. Pretty much just use that and just compose that up on your system, and then you would actually have it saved and persist into a database. So right now, if you were to just, make a flow, for example, and then close it, you wouldn't have access to that same flow once you actually opened up and restarted Docker, the actual container. So obviously you're not going to want to be using this in production, but if you just want to get up ready real quick and start testing Kestra and kind of see the ins and outs of the dashboard right here, then you can go ahead and run that command. All right, now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to show you how you can actually self-host it with Coolify. So this will pretty much apply even if you're not using Coolify. But for those of you who have been following this channel, you will know that I personally love using Coolify. It's essentially a free open source alternative to tools like Vercel. And all you need to do to actually get set up with it is it's super simple. You just click here on self-hosted, and then you just run this command. So say if you have a VPS, you can simply just run this command, and then it will actually set up Coolify for you. If you're having any trouble searching up Coolify, just search up Josh Pocock and Coolify on YouTube, and you can check out some of my other videos on this channel about how to set up Coolify, but it's pretty straightforward. Once you have Coolify set up, you can go to your projects here and create a new project. So I'm in this project called Kestra, and then you're going to want to add a new resource. So once you click on add new resource, you're going to want to click on public repository. Once you click on public repository, you're going to want to paste in the URL of the repo right here. Now you could actually fork my repo, and then if you want to add some customization to the Docker Compose, that will allow you to. You're just going to click on check repository, change this from build pack to Docker Compose right here, and then you're just going to remove the A out of Docker Compose YAML, and then you're just going to click on continue. Okay, once that loads up, you'll see that you have everything right here, your configurations. You'll also see that the Docker Compose file is automatically reloaded right here. Now, the main things you're going to want to do is go to environment variables like right here, and you're going to want to click on developer view. Okay, here you'll see your environment variables. Okay, so these are the environment variables you're going to want to paste in here, and I'm going to leave these environment variables in the description down below. Now, of course, you can change your Kestra password right here, as well as you can change your username right here. So you can change this to your email. You could change your Postgres DB password and username if you would like. And then also too, right here, your Kestra URL. This is the URL that you're going to want to point to your VPS server. So let's say your VPS server is 99.34, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're going to want to set up a subdomain. Let's say mydomain.com or whatever the case may be, or automation.mydomain.com, and then put that URL right here. If you don't know how to point a domain to a VPS IP address, just ask ChatGPT. It's very simple. All right, you're going to want to paste this in the production environment variables as well as the preview deployment environment variables, and you're going to want to click on save all environment variables. Once you do that, you're going to go ahead and click on deploy. Now, I'm not going to do this because I already have it deployed, but that should actually start spitting up the Docker containers and, get downloading the images, etc. Now, I'm looking in the Docker Compose file right here, and I'm not going to go through it all. If you want to check it out, you can definitely check it out. You can see the different services we're setting up, such as Postgres, the environment variables right here. We have some different stuff right here. We have Kestra, the image, and we have the configuration right here. So we can see now, if you don't want authentication for whatever reason, you can put this to false right here where it says enabled. Of course, I left it as true, and that would be your Kestra username and password. And I'll leave a link down below to the Kestra docs, because if you go to the docs right here and then you go to configurations under reference docs right here, this is all the different configurations that you could actually change and use for your Kestra instance right here within your Docker Compose. So of course there is a lot, and I'm not going to go through them all. In the one that I'm actually giving you guys, the forked version, I just kept it very basic. It's pretty much their standard one. I just customized it for Coolify for you guys. Also too, guys, just in case, I don't even know if you have to do this, but I would just paste in your domain for Kestra right here and then click save just to be safe. And anytime you make changes to the environment variables or the Docker Compose, you're going to have to redeploy, just as a heads up. Okay, now that you got everything spun up and you deployed on Coolify, you should be able to access your Kestra dashboard at the URL that you inputted in your environment variables. And now I'll quickly go over some of the key features in this tool. All right, so here we have the dashboard. This is going to go over pretty much a high-level overview of all your different executions, your success ratio, your fail ratio, how much flows you have in your account, how many triggers, and you can filter by different things: all data, user data, system data, specific time frames. You can filter by namespaces up here, okay? A bunch of different stuff. I'm not going to go through it all. And then flows will Come back to flows in just a second here, but this is basically all the different flows, the workflows that are in your account. Are you tired of pouring thousands of dollars into appointment setters only to watch leads slip away? Imagine having a team of elite sales agents booking qualified appointments for you around the clock. No more wasted time on training, no more frustration with performance, and no more draining your budget on inconsistent and expensive call centers. Introducing Stride Agents, AI-powered appointment setters that work 24/7, never get tired, and book appointments while you sleep. Trained on thousands of successful conversations, our AI agents outperform human teams at just 1/10 of the cost. Join the ranks of businesses that doubled their appointments and booking rates in just a matter of weeks. Don't get left behind in the AI revolution. Visit strideagents.com now and transform your entire sales process with cutting-edge AI technology. It's time to accelerate your stride with AI agents. All right, you'll be able to see a bird's eye overview of the executions right here, the labels of the workflows and the IDs, last execution, execution status, triggers, all that good stuff. Here we have executions. So this is going to be your execution history right here. So you can filter by, all the different filters right here and see a bird's eye overview. Then here we have logs. So this is going to show the actual in-depth logs between each execution. All right, namespaces. This is where we can go. You can set up different namespaces to essentially kind of organize your flows and all that good stuff. So, here right now we have some dummy ones that were provided just by default. All right, and then blueprints. So when you're first getting started, I would highly recommend, really just to get a understanding of Kestra, checking out these blueprints right here. All right. This is something I'm definitely going to be doing because this is a newer tool for me, and I'm very excited to use this tool because I'm used to using n8n. I'm used to using all the other ones that we mentioned. I think this one is really cool, and it has a lot more, you can pretty much do almost anything with this, which is really exciting, but there's also, a little bit more of a learning curve, I would say. So going through these blueprints here, as well as watching some of the official Kestra YouTube videos and tutorials and reading through the documentation will definitely help you get started. But here we can actually filter by different tags for blueprints. I'm not going to go through them all because you can obviously see there's so much, but we have S3, CLI, getting started, variables, namespace files. We have R, we have trigger right here. So you can see we have like integrations with like Slack, Python, Docker, JavaScript, pretty much anything you could almost think of, Redis here, Git. All right, you can see all the different Docker blueprints. You can see the different pip blueprints right here. So run a SQL query on Databricks, output the result to a CSV file, and read that CSV file in a Python script with pandas. We got Postgres. All right, so I think you guys get the point here. We got a lot of different stuff, and we even have AI. So we have chat with your Elasticsearch data using OpenAI plugin, RAG. We got some Weaviate stuff down here. All right, so I think you get the point about blueprints. It's pretty much just pre-built templates. And then plugins. So plugins are building blocks for your workflows. You can search for tasks and triggers to build your flow. So there's over 556 plugins. You can also build your own plugins. We're not going to get into that though. But you can see here, there's so many different pretty much integrations. So for example, we could go to Airflow right here. All right, and then we could see a trigger right here for Airflow. We can see examples of it being used, the properties right here, base URL, outputs right here, pretty much anything you would need to know. And then here we can scroll down on the left-hand side and go to different ones as well. So we have Git here. So we have Git clone, Git push, push flows, push namespace files, sync. So here, clone a repository, showing different examples of how to do that. And yeah, there's a lot of, cool stuff in these plugins, of course, and a lot of different ways you can customize it. All right, next is the built-in docs right here. So you can actually just access the docs directly in your dashboard, which is really nice. And you can see it's very comprehensive. We have pretty much anything that you would want to know about, Kestra right here in the docs. And then administration. So a lot of this stuff is locked in case you are in the enterprise plan, which of course isn't free. But then we just have our triggers right here, and then we have our stats. So you can see we're on the open source edition right here. There's the enterprise plan. We can see our namespaces and all the different overviews of our usage right here. And then if you go to settings, you can see your main configuration, your default namespace, theme preferences. So of course we're on dark theme. You can change the chart color scheme. You can change some of the font sizes, you know, all that good stuff. And you can also export all your flows in case you ever, you know, want to do that. Now let's go ahead into flows and let's just see some basic flows in action. So this is actually a blueprint that I got right here. This one is called Generate SEO Summary. So when you're in a flow, you have, you know, a bunch of different ways to monitor this specific flow. So we kind of have our own little flow dashboard right here, an overview. We can see all the different stats within our flows, our executions, our successes and failures. We can filter by, you know, specific things. We can go to the topology view, and this is pretty much like a kind of like an n8n view. It's similar, like kind of using, I don't know if it's using React Flow, but it's something similar to that. This drag and drop UI interface. So this is nice if you don't know how to code. And this is also nice too if you maybe are working with other people that don't know how to code, right? So this is really nice that they have this. You have your executions here. You have your editor right here. So within the editor, there is a few different things. We'll come back to this in just a second. All right, you have your revisions. So only one revision exists for this flow. You have your triggers. So to access this, you would need to add a trigger for your first, for your flow at the start. You have your logs, you have your metrics, and you have your dependencies. So right now we don't have any dependencies. You can check out the dependencies doc to learn more about dependencies, and then concurrency. So no limits are set for this flow. You can read more about concurrencies here. All right, so I'm going to come back to the editor here. And just as a side note, guys, if you ever get lost, you can search for stuff up here. They have a nice clean search interface that you can easily use. Now that we're in the editor here, I'm going to go over some of the main things. So here we have the different views. So you can go through source right here. So the source is pretty much the direct YAML schema, YAML code right here that you can actually write. You can do the source and documentation. So the cool thing with this is if I highlight something in the source, like if I highlight this, it's actually going to go to that place in the documentation. So we can actually learn about that area in the documentation. So as you see now, I'm highlighted on logs, and it automatically pulls to the log section of the documentation. So this is really nice, and they have a really nice interface for kind of working here, learning along the way with the docs. And then also too, you have the source and topology view right here. So this is where you can see the source as well as the GUI UI right here, the topology. And you can actually click over here in the topology and click on edit, for example. And then once you click on edit, you'll be able to see kind of like a form view right here. So you could actually filter by type right here. Right, types are basically all the different, you know, types of methods for the plugins, right? So each plugin has different types, like let's say, you know, Git has Git clone, Git push, etc. like we showed. This is where you'll see all those different types for the different plugins, okay? Here we have the ID. So right now this ID is just called fetch article because that's what we're doing. We have a URI right here. So this is the fully qualified URI that points to the HTTP destination. And we have a bunch of different other values right here. I'm not going to go through them all. I would definitely recommend reading some of the docs, but you can customize them right here in this nice little GUI, and then just click save task at the bottom right, which is right below my head. So you can't see it. Here you can click on add tasks. So you can add new tasks. Also too, I forgot to mention, when you're in that specific task, there is a form view right here. There's also the direct source view for this specific task. And then there's the documentation. So you can see that all within this view as well. Okay, you also have just the topology view. So if you just want to view topology, you can click this. All right, so you can toggle this show namespace or hide namespace right here, the files button right here. And over here, you'll be able to see you can create folders to organize things. Like we have a test folder right here. So that's the parent folder. And then you can have different files right here. Now I'm not 100% sure yet what the exact use case of these is in a real life example, but I'll definitely, you know, do some research and I'll fill you guys in if I do another video on this tool. And then you also have the source and blueprints view right here. So this is where you can see the source code as well as different blueprints right here. So you can actually copy over blueprints very easily into here. So it's pretty nice that they have that. And then you have actions up here. So you can delete, copy, add global error handler, add trigger, add metadata, etc. All right. So just to quickly walk through what this flow is doing, we have our ID right here for the flow. So this is generate SEO summary. We have our namespace right here. So company team, and then we have our inputs. So we have ID, article, URL. So this is basically you can define inputs at the start here. I would recommend checking out the docs. So you can do things like string, integers, arrays, booleans, floats, select, multi-select, date time, date, really like almost anything like JSON, secret, YAML. These are all the different inputs that you can have basically for that flow. And for us, we have a flow right here of a string, which is the article URL that we will be using for this flow. And you can set a default right here. So the default is just this right here. And I'll show you that in a second. This will be, you'll see this once we actually try to execute this flow. So that's where you define the inputs, and then the tasks right here are defined. So we have first task, which is the fetch article. We have our type right here. So this is using the plugin core right here to the HTTP one to download the article. As you can see right here in our topology view, this is downloading the article. The URI right here is the inputs.article URL. So this right here is being downloaded right here. And then our next task is the generate SEO summary. So this right here, we're using the type of the Kestra plugin for OpenAI chat completion. Okay. And you're going to see here our API key is, I removed it, but I'll add it, of course, once we actually execute. You'll see max tokens right here of 500. You'll see model, which is GPT-4o mini. And like I said, you can check out the docs and you'll be able to actually add more different, values right here under each specific type. If you wanted to do things like top P or top K, whatever the case might be, you could do that. All right, so here we have our prompt: write a short, max 200 words SEO optimized summary for the following articles. And then this is read outputs dot fetch underscore articles URI, which is right from the previous task. And then here we're using the ID of log output, and the type is literally just log, and the message is the output of the generated SEO summary choices of the message content right here for first. And that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to show you a basic setup here, but that should kind of give you an understanding of how this actually works, a little bit of the schema. Like I said, you're going to want to go to the actual documentation when you're building this out, as well as using the blueprints and checking out the different plugins, and you'll be able to actually customize this for your specific use case. For example, we could actually take this summary, and instead of actually just logging it for test purposes, we could either like put this into an Airtable database, right? Or we could send this as an email, or we could send this as a Slack notification. The possibilities are really endless, but I just wanted to show you a simple example here. So now if we go ahead and actually run this, all right, so I put our API key back in. Now I'm going to execute this. And as you'll see, this is our default URL. I could put any URL, right? Let's say I went to OpenAI's website right here and I got their learning to reason with LLMs. This is their blog that they posted for their O1 model right here. And we'll use this blog just for testing purposes. So now I'm going to paste in this article right here. There's also advanced configuration options right here that you could schedule a date right here. You could use a curl command, and I'm just going to click on execute. Once it starts executing, you're going to see this Gantt view right here. So you can pretty much see all the different. All right, so OpenAI has actually failed for some reason. It was forbidden, and that can tend to happen anytime you're like scraping things or whatnot. But let's go ahead and actually use Anthropic's new computer use blog post. All right, so I'm going to paste in the article URL right here, and then we are going to execute, and you will see this Gantt view right here. And as you can see, it's showing the different seconds and execution time for each specific task right here. We can see the generate fetch article right here, the generate SEO summary, which took the longest. It took 6.7 seconds. And then we can see the log output right here. So if we go ahead and click on each individual one, like right here, we can see the fetch article URL right here. Then we can see the generate SEO summary right here. So we can see the success. And then if we click on the log right here, we can actually see the output. So we can see Anthropic has unveiled significant updates featuring the Claude 3.5 Sonnet and the introduction of the Claude 3.5 Haiku model, the 3.5 Sonnet boasts, blah, 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 blah. You get the point, right? But as you can see, we got a summary right here and the execution worked. You can see an overview of our execution right here. You can set labels, replay, change state, do a bunch of things, see the Gantt, see the logs, see the topology, see the outputs of each individual thing right here. You can see every single thing in a very granular level. And then you can see the metrics. So all in all, guys, that's such a brief overview of Kestra, showing you how you can self-host it locally, either using Docker or use it in a production-ready instance within Coolify. Like I said, guys, all links will be in the description down below, including our forked version of the GitHub repo. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, guys, and let me know what your thoughts are on Kestra. Are you new to this tool, or have you been using it for a while? And if so, how do you think it compares to some of the other automation tools out there, such as Zapier, Make, n8n, Trigger.dev? I've done videos on all these different tools, and I'm very excited to continue using Kestra because you can do so many different things with it. You can run Python code, you can really customize it to whatever use case you want, and it has a really nice UI dashboard. All in all, I think it's a great tool, and I'm excited for building some really cool stuff. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to see more videos of this tool, me building different things, giving you guys maybe free templates, or if you have any ideas of cool things you want me to build, let me know as well in the comments down below. If you're new to this channel, guys, we upload videos every single day on AI, automation, marketing, sales, business growth. If you like that type of content and you got some value here, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to stay up to date with the daily uploads. Also, too, guys, if you haven't already joined our free community, stridecommunity.com, what are you doing? It's our free Facebook group and Discord channel. I'll leave a link down below. And then also, too, guys, if you run a business and you need help automating it, you need help with your system processes, you need help with doing outbound prospecting, paid advertising, or maybe you need help implementing AI agents, AI appointment setters, AI call centers into your business to completely streamline your appointment setting as well as your sales process, then book a call down below at executivestride.com/apply, and we can see if it's a good fit or not. Other than that, guys, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Keep hustling, keep grinding, and of course, guys, accelerate your stride. Take care.